The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the winding road that Bella navigated with care. As a 7-month pregnant woman, every bump in the asphalt sent a ripple of discomfort through her body, but she smiled at the thought of her little one soon to join the world. Bella had taken this scenic route to clear her mind. The drive was supposed to be peaceful, a moment of solitude before the whirlwind of motherhood began. But then it happened. The sputtering of her car broke the tranquility, followed by a painful silence that filled her with dread. The engine coughed and wheezed, and before she knew it, the dashboard lights flickered ominously before dying completely. She pulled over to the side of the lonely bridge, panic rising in her chest like a tidal wave. Alone and miles from civilization, she realized she had no phone signal. Sighing, Bella stepped out of the car, her hand instinctively cradling her belly. She surveyed the landscape, hoping to spot another vehicle in the distance. But the only thing that met her gaze was the endless stretch of asphalt and trees. Minutes felt like hours as she stood by her car, feeling increasingly anxious with each passing moment. Just as the shadows began to stretch and darkness settled around her, the rumble of engines shattered the silence. A group of bikers appeared on the horizon, their leather jackets gleaming under the fading light, bikes roaring as they approached the bridge. Bella's heart raced, fear gripping her. In movies, bikers were often portrayed as troublemakers. She clutched her belly tighter, feeling her heart thump loudly against her ribs. But as they neared, her anxiety morphed into confusion. Instead of speeding past, the bikers slowed down, coming to a halt around her car. "Hey there," one of the bikers called out, dismounting his motorcycle. He was tall, with a warm smile and friendly eyes that contradicted the rough exterior. "You all right?" My car broke down," Bella managed, her voice shaking. "I don't have any signal, and I don't know what to do." "Let's take a look," he said, motioning to the others. "We're here to help." As the bikers gathered around her car, a pickup truck rumbled into view, the driver's brow furrowed as he took in the scene. He slammed on the brakes, gravel scattering as he skidded to a halt. Jumping out, he approached with an aggressive stance. "Hey, what are you doing with her?" he barked, eyes narrowing at the bikers. "Easy there," the lead biker said calmly, raising his hands. "We're just helping her out. Her car's broken down." "Yeah, right," the truck driver scoffed, glancing between Bella and the bikers. "You think I'm going to believe that? You know how it looks." "Trust me, I get it," the biker replied, his voice steady. "But she's pregnant and she needs help. Just give us a minute." The tension hung thick in the air. Bella held her breath, her heart racing as she watched the exchange unfold. Finally, after a moment that felt like an eternity, the pickup driver's posture softened. "I'm sorry. Bella, sensing the change, interrupted. "Thank you for being concerned, but they really are helping me." The driver nodded slowly, shame coloring his cheeks. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to jump to conclusions." After a few moments of tinkering, the bikers worked their magic. The lead biker, whose name she learned was Eli, patiently explained what he was doing as they tried to restart her car. "Sometimes, it's just a loose wire or a dead battery. You'd be surprised how easy it is to fix." With one final turn of the wrench and a few encouraging words, the car sputtered back to life. Bella's eyes widened in relief, tears pooling at the corners of her eyes. Thank you so much," she exclaimed, her voice thick with emotion. "No problem at all," Eli said, a warm smile breaking across his face. "Just part of the job." Before they left, Eli reached into his pocket and pulled out a patch, handing it to her. "This is for you," he said. The patch bore the words "Road Guardians" in bold letters, flanked by images of wings. "We believe in helping those in need, just like someone once did for me. Keep it as a reminder that kindness is always out there, even in unexpected places." Bella held the patch close to her heart, touched by the gesture. The bikers waved goodbye and rode off into the twilight, their engines fading into the distance. She watched them go, a sense of warmth blossoming in her chest. Later that evening, as Bella settled into her cozy living room, she couldn't shake the feeling of gratitude that enveloped her. The world outside felt brighter, more hopeful. Her experience with the bikers had reminded her that there was goodness to be found, even in the unlikeliest of places. Just as she prepared to make herself a warm cup of tea, a knock echoed through her home. Startled, she opened the door to find Eli standing on her porch, his biker jacket reflecting the last rays of sun. "Hey, I wanted to check if you made it home all right," he said, his tone light but sincere. "I did, thanks to you all," Bella replied, a smile lighting up her face. "You guys were amazing." Eli chuckled, scratching the back of his head. "We try. You'd be surprised how many people are willing to help when you reach out. We have a motto, leave no one behind." Bella nodded, feeling a kinship with Eli and his crew. "I was really scared when I saw you guys at first. I thought you might be trouble." "That's understandable," he said, a knowing glimmer in his eyes. "But it's important to look beyond appearances. You never know who might lend you a hand." The rain fell in heavy sheets, a relentless curtain of water that transformed the world outside into a blur of grays and blues. Inside the dimly lit cafe, the air was thick with the rich aroma of coffee and the sweet undertones of pastries still warm from the oven. Mia sat in the corner, a half-empty cup cradled in her hands, her heart racing as she prepared to unveil the narrative she had kept hidden for so long. She glanced around the room, her eyes flitting nervously from the table of friends laughing over their shared memories to the solitary figure tucked in the shadows, lost in a book. Each face held a story of its own, a tapestry of joys and sorrows, but none knew the depth of her tale, the storm that had raged within her. The only constant in her tumultuous journey had been the ink on paper, the words that flowed from her soul, the lifeline that had tethered her to reality when everything else felt like it was slipping away. As the cafe door swung open, a gust of wind carried the fresh scent of rain, and with it, Caleb walked in, shaking droplets from his jacket. His presence sent a jolt through Mia. He was the keeper of her secrets, the one person who had urged her to share her story with the world. She had hesitated, afraid of the vulnerability that came with exposure. But today was different. Today, she could feel the weight of the truth pressing down on her, demanding to be set free. Caleb spotted her and made his way through the maze of tables, his expression a mixture of concern and encouragement. He slid into the chair across from her, his gaze unwavering. "Are you ready?" he asked softly, his voice cutting through the noise of the cafe. Mia took a deep breath, her chest rising and falling like the tide. "I think so," she replied, though doubt crept into her mind. What if they didn't understand? What if the shadows of her past consumed her before she had a chance to shed light on them? "Remember, it's your story. Own it," Caleb urged, reaching across the table to squeeze her hand. His touch ignited a flicker of courage within her. She nodded, determination replacing uncertainty. With a shaky exhale, she pulled out her notebook, the pages dog-eared and filled with the raw, unfiltered words that had spilled from her heart during sleepless nights. She opened to the first page, and the quiet cafe faded away, the murmurs of laughter and clinking of cups dissolving into silence. "Once upon a time," she began, her voice barely above a whisper, but the words were imbued with a power she had never expected. She recounted the moments of her life that had shaped her, the heartache and the triumphs, the shadows that had threatened to engulf her, and the flickers of light that had guided her through. As she spoke, the storm outside intensified, thunder rumbling like a distant drum, a symphony of nature that echoed the turmoil within her. The rain lashed against the windows, an angry chorus that mirrored her emotions. She described the suffocating loneliness of losing her mother, the night spent wandering through memories like a ghost in her own life. She talked about the love that had once burned brightly but was extinguished by betrayal, leaving behind a cold emptiness that felt insurmountable. Mia's words flowed like the rain outside, tumultuous yet cathartic. She saw the faces of the patrons shift from casual indifference to rapt attention, their eyes widening, hearts connecting with her pain. In that moment, she realized the power of vulnerability. Her truth resonated deeply, a universal thread weaving through the fabric of humanity. As she reached the climax of her tale, the moment of awakening when she discovered her strength, the room felt electric. "I learned that the only way to truly heal is to share your story," she declared, her voice rising above the din of the storm. "To let others in, to allow them to see your scars, is to transform your pain into something beautiful." Caleb's eyes glistened with unshed tears, pride radiating from him like warmth. The cafe, once merely a backdrop, had become a sanctuary of shared experiences and mutual understanding. The patrons were no longer strangers, but fellow travelers on this winding path of life. As she finished, the silence that followed was profound. Mia's heart raced, not from fear but from exhilaration. She had unleashed her truth, and it hung in the air like a delicate thread, connecting them all in that moment. She could feel the weight of judgment lift, replaced by empathy and kinship. Then, in the stillness, the clinking of cups resumed, the soft chatter returned, and she realized that she had not just shared her story, but had ignited something within each person present. Their eyes sparkled with understanding, and she sensed a shift, a willingness to open up, to share their own tales of sorrow and triumph. With a smile that felt like a sunrise after a long night, Mia leaned back in her chair, her heart full. The rain continued to pour outside, but inside, warmth enveloped her like a comforting embrace. This was only the beginning. Together, they would navigate their stories, each word a step toward healing, each shared moment a testament to the beauty of human connection. As the days turned into weeks, Bella couldn't shake the encounter with the road guardians from her mind. Inspired by their kindness, she decided to share her experience online. With a patch displayed prominently in the photo, she wrote about her fears, the unexpected help she received, and the lesson learned. Her post quickly gained traction. Friends, family, and even strangers shared their own stories of kindness and support, emphasizing the importance of looking beyond initial impressions. The comments section filled with people recounting times they had been helped by unexpected sources, fostering a sense of community that warmed her heart. One evening, as Bella scrolled through the comments, she saw one from Eli. "Glad to see the patches making waves. Keep sharing the love." His words filled her with happiness, a reminder of the connection they had made. As Bella approached her due date, the community around her grew closer. She received messages of encouragement from all over, especially from those who had read her story. The kindness of strangers had sparked something within her, igniting a desire to pay it forward. She reached out to the road guardians, hoping to collaborate on a local event. They responded enthusiastically, excited to help her organize a charity drive for new mothers in need. Together, they would gather supplies, clothes, and resources to support those who found themselves in difficult situations. On the day of the event, Bella stood side by side with Eli and the bikers, their presence a powerful reminder of the kindness that existed in the world. The community showed up in droves, donating and sharing stories, each person touched by the impact of the road guardians. The event was a resounding success, and as Bella felt the first pangs of labor, she was surrounded by a newfound family of friends and supporters. Eli stood by her side as they rushed to the hospital, the bikers leading the way in a show of solidarity. They filled the waiting room with laughter and support, easing her anxiety as the moments ticked by. When Bella finally held her baby girl, she couldn't help but think of the journey that had led her here. The kindness of the bikers had changed her life, and now she was ready to instill those values in her daughter. As she glanced around at her new friends, Bella understood the true meaning of the patch she had received. It wasn't just a symbol. It was a reminder that in a world that often rushed to judgment, kindness could shine through. Months later, Bella wore the Road Guardians patch proudly on her jacket as she joined Eli and the bikers for a charity ride. They rode through the countryside, the wind whipping through her hair as her heart soared with joy. The event raised funds for families in need, providing food, clothing, and essentials for those who found themselves in challenging situations. Each mile they traveled was a testament to the bond they had formed and the kindness they were spreading. As they reached their destination, Bella felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. She had found her place within a community that valued kindness, compassion, and support. The fear she once felt when stranded on the bridge was now replaced with a sense of purpose and connection. In the years that followed, Bella continued to share her story, encouraging others to embrace the unexpected kindness of strangers. She taught her daughter the value of helping others and looking beyond appearances, instilling in her the belief that everyone has the power to make a difference. The Road Guardians remained an integral part of their lives, embodying the spirit of community and compassion. Bella often reflected on that fateful day when her life had changed forever. It was a reminder that kindness knows no boundaries, and that the most unlikely heroes can emerge from the shadows. In a world filled with uncertainties, the Road Guardians had proven that even the smallest acts of kindness could have a lasting impact, changing lives one roadside at a time. And as Bella watched her daughter play, she knew that the legacy of kindness would continue, a flame ignited within each heart, ready to shine brightly for all to see.